All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the My Tesla channel. My name is Jeremiah, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to properly wash your Tesla Model 3/Y/ any Tesla really. As someone that was in the car wash / auto detailing industry / space for about 6 years between the time I was 15 till I was 21, I've pretty much seen it all in terms of caring for your automobile. And this video is essentially a culmination of all that knowledge and experience condensed down into an easy to understand format, aka a YouTube video. Now, in the spirit of being as transparent as possible, all the products that I'm going to be mentioning will be linked below, and they are affiliate links, but they're Amazon affiliate links. So these companies have no idea who I am, and I'm recommending them because, well, I actually use them and I think that they are the best. So yeah, if you want to support the channel, you can grab your stuff via the links. Plus it's Amazon, so you'll normally get like Prime 2-day shipping, and it's normally a little bit cheaper than buying it elsewhere. So to start us off, I kind of want to preference this by saying that there is no, I guess, proper way to wash your Tesla. And by that, I mean, like, there's a bunch of different ways, and people are always going to argue of, oh, no, this is the best way. No, this is the best way. No, this is what you should do. And, well, they're all kind of right at the end of it. As long as you're not taking it to an automatic car wash, then you're doing good. Just don't take it to an automatic car wash. Tesla paint is already pretty bad, so throwing in an automatic car wash of just brushes spinning and spinning and spinning and just ripping up your paint, yeah, just don't do that, and you're already doing better than anyone that would do that. And I already know that some people are going to say, it's just a car, I don't have time, this and that, and hey, that's cool. If your time is so valuable where saving a few hours a month not hand washing your car and taking it through one of these automatic car washes benefits you, then sure, yeah, go for it. You paid for it, who cares? But if you actually do care about your paint, even in the slightest, or just the overall look of your vehicle, then yeah, just hand wash it. And trust me, hand washing is not as hard as it might sound. Now, I want to go ahead and get the one method that I know everyone here has probably heard about. Literally, if you type in how to wash Tesla on YouTube, you'll probably find 20 plus videos on this one particular method. That method being the 2-bucket rinseless system with O&R. And well, it's essentially what it sounds like. It's 2 buckets, O&R, some water, a microfiber mitt, and a bunch of microfiber towels. Now, if you would have asked me like a year ago what I thought the best hand washing method was, especially for a Tesla, I would have said, yeah, this is it. It's the 2-bucket rinseless system. But after doing some research, and by research, I mean just reading the experiences of others, trying out other methods on my own Model 3, and taking direct advice from a professional detail shop that doesn't go a single day without working on a Tesla, well, my mind has been changed. I have found that there is a method that is just as safe, yields the same results, but takes half the time as compared to a 2-bucket rinseless system. That method being the 1-bucket system with O&R and a big red sponge. And if you think I'm crazy for recommending 1 bucket or a sponge for washing your car, well, if you've ever tried the 2-bucket system, then you know at the end, you just end up with 2 of the same buckets. Like, one's supposed to be water, one's supposed to be an O&R mixture, but within, like, by the time you're halfway done, they're just both kind of the same because there's just a lot of cross-contamination. And, well, the sponge, it's a special made sponge made specifically for O&R. So I'll explain all of that in just a second. So before we get into the method itself, what do you need? And well, I'm going to go over it. First is a 5-gallon bucket, preferably a new one that you haven't used, that isn't just filled with a bunch of crap, and that you can just dedicate to being your car wash bucket. But if you already have a 5-gallon bucket that you say you're already using to wash your car, or you kind of just have laying around that you've never really used anything too harsh in it, well, then that's just fine. The one that I personally bought was from, I think it's Chemical Guys. It's just a super standard 5-gallon bucket, but you can also pick these up at like a Lowe's or a Home Depot or something. Next is a grit guard. This goes at the bottom of the bucket and just keeps dirt trapped underneath of it. The one that I got was also from Chemical Guys. I got their bucket and the grit guard as like a combo deal. You save a few bucks, but yeah. Third is Optimum No Rinse, aka O&R. This is a God-sent product. It's tried and true. It encapsulates dirt, allowing it to lift off your vehicle's surface, breaks down the dirt while it's encapsulated, like when it's still sitting on the surface of your vehicle. And then when you rinse your sponge, the O&R drags the dirt that's encapsulated to the bottom of the bucket underneath the grit guard. Seriously, O&R is great. There is no like I guess alternative to this in my opinion. I've been using it for so long, it's just amazing. Number 4 is a spray bottle, just like the Bucket, preferably a new one that you can just dedicate to being your car wash spray bottle. The one that I got was also from Chemical Guys, but I think it broke like the 3rd time that I used it, so maybe don't buy a bottle from them, maybe somewhere else. Next up is the Big Red Sponge. Just like ONR, this was made by Optimum, and it was made to be used in conjunction with ONR. As you can see, the sponge itself has a bunch of little slits in it, and whenever you apply this sponge to the surface of your vehicle that has been coated in ONR, while the sponge itself has also been dipped in an ONR mixture, it just sucks everything up, all the dirt, everything, and it goes up into those cracks. So as you are wiping a panel of your vehicle, you're not just kind of smearing little dirt particles and causing micro scratches, because that is inevitably what causes micro scratches, and all that dirt will just get sucked up into those little cracks. So then when you go and dunk and rinse your sponge, all of it kind of just falls out. And then finally, for the essential part of the wash, just some microfiber towels. I highly recommend the Rag Company microfiber towels though. They are edgeless, tagless. They are a 70-30 Korean blend. They state their GSM up front, just all the bells and whistles. You're gonna need some waffle weave microfiber towels for drying, and some 200 to like 300-ish GSM microfiber towels for just super dirty, grimy areas like your wheels, places that you know are just really filthy. But yeah, like I said, if you're just looking to wash the car, then that's all it really takes. A bucket, a grit guard, ONR, a sponge, a spray bottle, and some microfiber towels, and you're pretty much good. A lot of people think that going to an automatic car wash actually saves money, and it does, as long as you're doing like the whole unlimited like monthly plans where it's like the same price as a single wash, or it's like $10 over what it would cost you to go through like one time. So like what, like 30, 40, 50 bucks a month. And it does save you money for the first 2 to 3 months. But then after that, is when it no longer becomes cheaper, because all the products that I just mentioned are going to last you a really long time. Like I haven't re-upped products now since August, and well, you can see on screen just how much ONR I still have left. But if you're looking to go that extra mile, spend about an extra 10 minutes, just get that cherry on top, if you will, then I highly recommend a sealant and or a wax. For the sealant, I use and recommend OptiSeal. It's very easy to apply. It's just a spray on, and I use it once every 3 to 6 months. This is going to make the surface of your vehicle very slick, shiny, water beading, all the good stuff. Now, because I use OptiSeal once every 3 to 6 months, in between, I like to use Optimum Car Wax. And I know that there's a lot of Optimum products, and this sounds like an ad. Trust me, it's not. They're just an amazing brand, and their products work well, like just amazingly in conjunction with one another. Optimum Car Wax is essentially going to do the same thing as OptiSeal, except it's not going to last nearly as long, and it's not going to be as powerful. And by as powerful, I mean you're not going to get the same intensity of like water beading, or it's not going to be like as slick or as shiny as compared to OptiSeal. To be honest, I just use it to fill in the gaps while OptiSeal is wearing off. And then even when it is time for me to apply OptiSeal, I still use Optimum Car Wax on top of it. It's not going to like double the shine or double the water beading, but you can definitely tell, like whenever you just use OptiSeal and then not Optimum Car Wax, and you use like both of them together, you can still tell. Okay, so now that you got all of the products, how do you actually use them? So like, how do you wash the car? First thing, if your Big Red Sponge is brand new, like you're watching this video, you ordered your sponge and it's brand spanking new, right out of the package, put it in a bucket of water and let it soak overnight just to soften it up. But once your sponge is nice and soft, it's time to start washing your Tesla. Take your bucket and your grit guard and put the grit guard at the bottom of the bucket. Then go and get 3 gallons of water and fill up your bucket. I personally would recommend distilled water, and normally you can get a gallon of that at your local supermarket or whatever for about 80 cents. But now time for the ONR. You're gonna want ½ an ounce per gallon of water, and if you have the like full size bottle of ONR, then a capful is actually ½ an ounce. So 3 capfuls for 3 gallons of water. Then once you put your ONR in there, just stir it up, give it a good mixing. Now take your spray bottle and put it in your ONR mixture bucket and fill it up. This is why I'm recommending 3 gallons instead of 2. Normally I'd only recommend 2 gallons for like an ONR rinseless wash, but because we're also using a spray bottle, you're going to be taking some of that ONR mixture out of it. So you're not even going to be washing with 3 gallons. You're going to be washing with a little bit less and then some in your spray bottle, of course. Once you filled up your bottle, go ahead and take your sponge and put it in your bucket of ONR and just let it soak. Now, when it comes to actually washing your Tesla, I recommend going from top to bottom, front to back. This is essentially going to start at the least dirty areas, less dirty areas, and then you're making your way to the dirtiest areas. So starting at the top, just go ahead and do the entire glass roof like all at once, like do the back, the kind of like center, and then like the windshield. And then from there, I like to move on to the hood, or you could also go from there to like your side windows if you want to, but normally I'll go from there to the hood and then the bumper. And yes, you do want to go panel by panel, making your way, like I said, from top to bottom, front to back. Just save your rocker panels and like your bumper for last, as those are normally the dirtiest part of your vehicle, and you don't want to start with those because then you'll just be moving all that excess dirt to a panel that doesn't really have that much dirt on it. Now, because washing every panel is essentially the same, like the process of washing the panel, I'm only gonna be going over like one panel. Like I'm just gonna be giving like one example, as if I was to give an example for every single panel, this video would be forever and I'd just be repeating myself constantly. So let's do the hood. Grab your ONR mixed spray bottle and just spray the panel down. Get it nice and wet. ONR is going to encapsulate the dirt, breaking it down and allowing for much easier removal. Once the panel is fully sprayed down, just let it sit for a minute or two and allow ONR to do its thing. And now, if you're wondering why that we're soaking the panel down with ONR, even though we're about to take an ONR soaked sponge to it, it's just because wet on wet is always best for just reducing the amount of friction that's going to happen, or that is going to be introduced, I guess you could say, to the surface of your paint. Now, once your panel has been soaking for a few minutes, head on back to your bucket, get your sponge out of it and wring it out. You don't want your sponge to be soaking wet, but you also don't want it to be bone dry. You need to find a nice happy medium. I normally like to look for the sponges dripping maybe like once every few seconds, so it's not just like a waterfall, but it's still dripping, so it's not just like completely dry. From there, take the sponge to the panel and going from top to bottom in horizontal motions, apply one side of the sponge to the panel. So going horizontally, just don't go in circles, please. Just whatever you do not go in circles. And with no pressure at all, wipe the panel. Like I said, horizontally, I normally go from top to bottom, just no pressure at all. Once you've done that, now flip the sponge and this time do the same thing. So same motions, but apply just the slightest amount of force. The first pass is going to remove most of the surface dirt and grime, and then the second pass is going to remove anything that the first pass didn't get. Just doing those 2 passes on most of your panels is going to take all the dirt off. Now, if you're looking at your panel and you still think it has some dirt on it, well then just rinse and repeat, metaphorically and literally. Spray the panel back down, go and rinse your sponge, and then do 2 more passes. One with no pressure and one with slight pressure. Now, when it comes to rinsing your sponge, there actually is a specific way that you should do it just to prevent any dirt transfer and just to make sure that the dirt actually comes off the sponge and gets underneath the grit guard in your bucket. When you dip your sponge in the bucket to rinse it off, have it make contact with the grit guard and just rub it around against it. This is going to get any of that, more stubborn dirt off the sponge and under the grit guard. And make sure you do this to both sides. But if you take your sponge out and it still looks like that there's some dirt on it, well then just do it again. So put it back in the bucket, put it against the grit guard, rub it around. You can do this a few times. If you're still seeing dirt, it kind of just depends on how filthy your Tesla is. Also, yes, you will be doing this after every single panel. Like I said, you want to prevent dirt transfer, so you're going to rinse the sponge after every panel. Once the panel is done, if you're not applying OptiSeal or Optimum Car Wax, just take your waffle weave drying towel and with no pressure, go over the panel. You know you've done a panel correctly whenever your drying towel has no dirt or very, very little dirt on it after drying the panel. This is also why I'd recommend getting lighter colored waffle weave drying towels, just so it's easier to see dirt if any does come off. Also, you're going to notice that it's only going to take like 2 to 3 even like smaller sized waffle weave drying towels to actually dry the entirety of your Tesla, and that's just the beauty of ONR in a rinseless wash. Now, if you are applying OptiSeal, which I cannot recommend enough, then before taking your drying towel to the panel, grab your bottle of OptiSeal, take it to the panel, to the center of the panel, and do 1 to 2 sprays depending on the size of the panel. For reference, for the hood, I do 2 sprays, like one kind of like I go to the center and then I go to a little bit to the left, spray, and then I go back to the center, I go a little bit to the right, and then spray. And then starting at the point of which you sprayed the panel with your OptiSeal, start drying with your waffle weave drying towel, of course. I've used OptiSeal every different way, and I have found that using it as a drying aid is just the best. Not to mention it's going to lubricate the surface, preventing friction that much more. So yeah, once you've dried the panel after applying the OptiSeal, well, then you're done and you can move on to the next panel. Once you're done washing most of the Tesla, your last two panels should be your rocker panels and your back bumper. Like I mentioned, these are going to be the dirtiest panels on the entirety of the vehicle. So these are probably going to take more than just one pass. And by pass, I mean a pass from me is one with no pressure and then one with slight pressure. That's one pass. So it's probably going to take you two, if not three, just depending on how filthy your Tesla actually is, to get that nice and clean. And now three final things that I want to quickly touch on. First is going to be wax. If you're not applying OptiSeal, then just apply the Optimum Car Wax as a drying aid. So the same way that you applied the OptiSeal, apply the car wax. So while the panel is still wet, 1 to 2 sprays, and then from the point of which you sprayed or the spot of which you sprayed at, take your waffle weave drying towel and just dry the panel. But if you are using it on top of OptiSeal, then once the entire car is washed, go back over it panel by panel, glass too, and spray each panel, then wipe it in with a normal microfiber towel. I personally use GSM 500, which may be a little overkill, from the Rad company. Secondly is going to be how to wash your wheels. So your tires and your rims. Now, tires, if your tires are starting to brown, they're not as black as they used to be, that's a completely different beast and could be its own video. I'm not going to get into it here, but for your rims, it's very simple. Just take that bottle of O&R mixture, spray it down, and then take a GSM 200 microfiber towel, spray that, and then just wipe them down. As we all know, Teslas don't really ever use their brakes. In fact, I recently had my tires rotated at 6,000 miles, and I had it done by Tesla because I wanted to see what they would say about my brakes. They said they were essentially brand new. And in fact, I've only ever cleaned my rims one time, and there was no brake dust. It was just normal road dust. So yeah, just some O&R microfiber towel, wipe them down, you'll be good to go. And then the third thing is going to be quick touch-ups. So stuff that happens in between washes, like bird crap or a bunch of bugs on your front bumper that don't really warrant an entire wash, but you still want to get it off the surface of your paint. For this, you're going to want to carry a bottle of that O&R mixture in your vehicle along with some GSM 500 towels. GSM 500 towels are extremely overkill, but they're very, very safe for your paint, and they don't require you to be doing an entire full wash to safely use on your vehicle. Just take the bottle of the O&R mixture, spray whatever you're trying to get off there, then spray the towel, and then just wipe. O&R seriously can be used for literally everything, and it's just amazing. Keep a bottle of it in your car, and it essentially takes off anything and then leaves the area shining, looking great, all that good stuff. Not to mention, it lubricates it, and that's like the best thing that a product could do when you're touching the surface of your vehicle. But that is how to wash your Tesla. Now, I did not cover interior detailing because I'm currently waiting to take delivery of a Tesla with white seats. So whenever that gets delivered is when I'll tackle that video. But yeah, let me know down in the comments section how you wash your Tesla. Do you use a foam cannon? Do you use a power washer? Do you use the 2-bucket system? Do you like using the mitt? Let me know how you all wash your vehicles. You all might give me some ideas. Maybe I'll try out something new. I'm always down to try out new things. Hell, I'll even do something that might scratch my car if it means that I can give you all the information to not scratch yours. Also, if you're new and you want to see more Tesla related content like this video, then feel free to subscribe. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, drop a like if you enjoyed this video or you found it useful, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.